All right, let's jump right in. Today we're talking about something that might seem, well, a little backwards at first. We're going to explore why, in our super visual, fast messaging world, the skill of writing is actually more important than ever for middle schoolers. And we're going to see how project-based learning is really the key to making it stick.
I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? We fire off texts with emojis, we watch video explainers, hey, like this one, and we literally have AI that can write entire emails for us. So you have to wonder, is the well-written report or the formal essay just a thing of the past? Well, let's see what the research says.
And boom, there it is. The answer is a huge yes. This quote from Workforce Studies completely flips the script. Turns out, being able to communicate your ideas clearly in writing isn't just some nice-to-have skill. It's absolutely critical for getting a job and being successful, sometimes even more than the technical stuff. And that means we really have to rethink how we teach writing to get kids ready for the real world.
So that brings us to our first section. Because here's the thing. Our digital world hasn't made writing obsolete. Not at all. It's actually put the demand for it on overdrive. So much of our work and how we collaborate has moved online, and that means we're all writing constantly in all sorts of new ways.
You know what's so interesting when you look at this list is just how practical all of this is. We're not talking about writing novels here. This is the day-to-day reality for almost everyone in the modern workplace. You got to write a clear email that gets things done. You need to explain how something works. You're chatting with your team on Slack. All of it requires good, clear, effective writing. Okay, so if the demand for writing is actually going up, how do we get students ready for that? Let's be honest, the old school book report just isn't going to cut it. We need something that feels like the real world. And that's where we get to the power of a whole new way of thinking. Project-based writing. So what is project-based writing? At its heart, it's super simple. It's all about learning by doing. Instead of just sitting there memorizing grammar rules, students get to tackle a real, meaningful project over time. They dig into a question, pull together information, and actually create something for an audience. It's exactly what educators mean when they talk about learning by building knowledge, not just by listening to it.
And this is where you really see the why behind it all. This isn't just about making learning more fun. It's like a workout for the brain. Students have to analyze different sources, organize a bunch of complex ideas, and, this is the big one, they have to think about their own thinking process. You know, the whole planning, drafting, and revising thing. That's what builds the mental muscle you need for really deep learning.
Okay, so theory is great, right? But what does this actually look like when a student sits down to do it? Well, we're going to use this amazing writing workbook for 5th and 6th graders as our guide. It takes all these big educational ideas and boils them down into a really cool hands-on project that any kid can tackle, creating your very own museum brochure.
So let's walk through how this thing actually works, starting right from square one. The whole goal here isn't just to get kids to list a bunch of facts. It's to guide them on a journey from just seeing something to having a strong, persuasive point of view about it.
And I have to say, I just love this. It's such a great place to start. Because before you can write about anything, you first have to really see it. The workbook tells kids to go to a museum or even just look at photos online and write down all the little details. You know, the colors, the textures, the shapes. It grounds the whole project in the real world.
Okay, and this is where the magic really kicks in. Using this T-Rex example, the workbook shows students how to climb this ladder of thinking. You start with something you can see, a simple fact. From that fact, you make a logical guess, an inference. And from that inference, you build an opinion, something persuasive that grabs your audience. It's this awesome step-by-step path from what is to what I think about it.
But of course, great writing isn't just about what you see with your own two eyes. It's about what you can find out. So the next part of the project tackles a skill that is just absolutely essential for every young person today: how to do research in the digital age.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You type something super vague into a search engine and you just get a mountain of useless results back. This workbook teaches students to be specific, to be strategic. And that little change, from a weak search to a strong one, that's a huge leap in digital literacy. It's about teaching kids to ask really good questions to get the info they actually need.
And this is so smart. Instead of banning tools like AI, the project leans right into it. It teaches students how to use them the right way. The lesson is crystal clear. An AI is an amazing assistant, but its answers are only as good as your questions. A vague prompt gets you a vague, unhelpful answer, but a really specific, detailed prompt, that gets you gold. It's all about teaching them to be in the driver's seat.
But this next part, this might just be the most important piece of the entire puzzle. The project doesn't just stop at getting information. It teaches kids to question it. This triangulation rule is basically the foundation of being a smart digital citizen. It forces them to get in the habit of checking their facts, of making sure what they found is actually true. In a world full of misinformation, I can't think of a more vital skill.
All right, so our student has observed like a detective. They've done some solid, modern research, and they've verified their facts. Now for the really fun part. Taking all that raw material and turning it into something polished, something they can really be proud of.
And what's so cool here is just how empowering this final stage is. Using a free, easy tool like Canva, students learn real digital design skills. They're not just writing words, they're choosing layouts, picking colors, and matching their text with great visuals. They are designing and publishing. And it makes the final product feel so professional, so real.
And that, right there, gets to the very heart of why this works. A project like this completely changes what writing feels like. It stops being a boring assignment you just hand in to a teacher. It becomes an act of creation, a moment where a student pulls together everything they've learned and communicates it to a real audience. That sense of purpose is what makes the learning stick.
So, let's end with this question to think about. We've seen that writing is more crucial than ever, and we've walked through a really practical, engaging way to teach it. This workbook shows us a path forward that builds skills in critical thinking, digital literacy, and creative communication, all at the same time. It makes you wonder, maybe the future of teaching writing isn't about more grammar drills, but about more meaningful projects that get students ready for the world they're actually going to live in.